Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here with Grant's First Impression Rose recipient, Alex. Alex, welcome to Bachelor Happy Hour.
Hello, Joe and Serena. Thank you for having me.
And not only the First Impression Rose recipient, but the recipient of the first one-on-one date of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know. I had so many first.
Were you aware when they threw that out there that was new? Did they say it? Did Jesse say that that's like a new thing?
He did. He said that Grant was very I can't think of the first word. My French is kicking in. Oh my gosh, what's the word for it in English?
Say it in French.
Is French your first language?
It is my first language, but you know what sucks is I do not have an accent, but it's because so it would be better if I had an accent. It would kind of give context clues, but then I do this and they're like, yes, it is my first language.
I was talking to someone, so we have friends of ours, they're a couple, they're from New Brunswick. And
what part? Oh my gosh, it's so small. Maybe I know them.
Well, Serena's Canadian.
I'm Canadian. I'm from Toronto.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, gals. Amazing. I love it.
I don't know what part. I would have to check. But I was talking to her a few months ago. We were at an event, and I was saying, is the fact that you went to school, because you went to school, I'm assuming at a fully French school, are there words that you're like, I still don't know the English translation? Because she was like, yeah, like when you learn the word like subtraction, she's like, I don't use that in my day-to-day life. So she's like, I'll like hit, like if you go to like university at an English speaking school, there's like a language barrier. I know this is so not on topic of The Bachelor. I just find it so interesting because like
well, it's part of our background.
Toronto doesn't have this, right? Like French is our second language, but most people don't speak it.
Don't speak it, or they know a little bit and it's like, can I go to the bathroom please? And that's kind of where it ends.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. And I still do certain things, like I'll say things like, can you close the computer or close the light, and it's turn off, like little things that I'm not as bad anymore, but I used to say for sure. It's tough to, but I started dreaming in English, so that means that it means that you're starting to really be immersed in that language, so that's a plus. The word I'm looking for, sorry, to get back to Bachelor, is meaningful, I guess. He was very, guys, help me out. Not meaningful.
Intentional.
Intentional.
I got you.
Merci beaucoup. Merci. So to go back to the question, Grant was very intentional. So he wanted to give the first impression rose to the person he wanted to go on the first date with, which honestly, I think it makes sense and it should be like that. Because it's like, if I give you the first impression, it means that you're kind of intriguing. You're kind of piquing my interest, right? I think
100%. No, we liked it. We thought it was a fun twist. And I was saying, I feel like the person that gets the first impression rose usually ends up not getting that one-on-one time for a little bit of time. So it's nice to be like, hey, I like you. I feel like that person it should be the obvious choice to be like, I want to spend more time with you. Because the first night, getting the first impression rose, it's like getting a group date rose. You didn't get a one-on-one with him.
Exactly. And then it's like, what weight does it hold to have the first impression rose if you're not going on that first one-on-one, right? That's kind of where,
Yes, but you're also biased. You know, you got the first impression rose.
Sure,
I know. I know. It's like easy to say now that I have it. I'm like, I should have all the dates actually. That's me.
I want to stay on topic with the show, but I do want to ask one question about the French language.
Le français.
You're from, is it Quebec?
No, so we are a small minority, and I'm going to put us on the map of French speakers in New Brunswick, Canada. So actually, fun fact, New Brunswick is the only bilingual province in Canada. So the northern part is fully French, and the southern part is English. And at the border, we have what we call Franglish and Chiac. So it's a lot of, I'll do it because this is funny, but the classic sentence is, où est-ce t'as parqué ton car? L'as-tu mis dans le parking lot? So a lot of, you probably understood that, Joe, right?
I got it.
It's like, where'd you park your car? So you stop parking ton car dans parking lot. So a lot of Franglish, but I'm from the northern part. So I only learned English in the 10th grade. So pretty late. And I used to say things like, I didn't heard you, I didn't saw you. And I was like, and I remember my English teacher in my French school before I switched to an English school. She was very concerned. She thought, oh my gosh, this poor lady, she is going to repeat all her grades if she goes to an English school. Because I was very, very bad at it, but I picked it up.
How is it that you have no accent?
Okay, so this helps that I'm a speech therapist because I used to have one up until I became a speech therapist. And for example, I used to say, "Oh, I love that 70s show," and until I became a speech therapist, and we like obviously study like accents and like speech production. Then I was like, "Oh, it's not show, it's or show." I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Show. So, and I would just, I don't know, I would record myself a lot, listen to myself in high school. And I was like, oh, that sounded French. And yeah, just by practice.
So then how was it going on a US show where French is your first language, English is your second language, but I mean, as a Canadian who went on the show, there's a lot of vocabulary differences. Like I remember being like, could I go to the washroom? And one of the producers being like, what? I was like, the washroom, do I have time? They're like, where, what? And I was like, do I have time to go to the washroom?
Well, that's
like,
that producer. That's on, that's on the producer. Like who doesn't know?
I was going to say, who doesn't know? That's common sense.
Yes, but he's like, sorry, it took me a second. Like, no one calls it that here. Like, just little things like that where you're like,
I love the sorry. What?
Sorry, yeah.
I love that you said sorry.
I call it washroom, and I'm an American.
Okay, but yeah, but maybe I give a bad example. Okay, I'm just
but I know what you mean. No, there's definitely
language differences.
Yes,
you know,
there's definitely yes, absolutely American, Canadian for sure. That was actually my biggest concern. I remember before going on the show, I asked the producer, I was like, if I say something wrong or I trip on my words, are they gonna edit that out? And he was just like, no, just like it might be funny, and honestly, it might make your charm. And the girls were so nice. It felt like they were little teachers because they would say things and be like, what does that mean? Like Hail Mary, had never heard that in my life. So I was like, they were talking about like a Hail Mary, and I have to obviously look like I know what they're talking about. And I'm like, And I was like on the side after, I was like, so what does Hail Mary mean?
Okay,
so
let's go back to the beginning.
No, you're good.
How did you wind up on the show?
So this summer I was driving with my friend, and then I got someone reached out to me, and usually it's like those scams about like, oh, I'll be your sugar daddy. And I was like, oh wait, is this one of those?
Or like, are you gonna send foot pics?
Yeah, can you send foot pics for $5? And then someone reached out, and it couldn't have been at a perfect timing because I had been single for a while, and I come from a really small town where all my friends are married, have babies, and I'm kind of like the crazy one because I live in LA. And I felt like super ready. I was like, okay, I've had my fun. I'm in a good spot in my life where I have a good career. I know it sounds cliche, but the only missing piece is like having a partner. So I really felt like it was like a sign from the universe. I was like, this is perfect timing.
How long have you lived in LA?
Now it's turning on 2.5 years. 2.5 years that I did my trip from Ottawa to here in my 2007 Hyundai Accent with 2 doors and no AC.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was crazy in 5 days.
Wow.
That's
like, but The
intense.
Bachelor, we're not talking about.
What brought you out to LA?
So my personal idea of hell is snowshoeing for the rest of my life. I just hate winter activities. I am not a winter gal. I can't do the snow. Right. Thank you. Are you from the East Coast, Joe, or?
I'm from Chicago, so it's really cold. Yeah, really cold winters.
You get it.
Yeah.
And then I got my green card, and I had to kind of choose where I wanted to live. So I was like, why not California? I feel like it has the best of both worlds. So.
Nice. I want to ask you how you got your green card, but is that something we should not talk about on record?
No. Oh my gosh, that's totally okay. My dad moved to the US before I was born, so he was already here. And then I got the there's a name for it, Serena. It's like I call it the kid visa.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I got it through. Do you have your visa yet?
I'm on a work visa right now, but we're in the green card process. After getting married. But I have no like familial ties to the U.S.
You don't, or you do?
I don't.
You do now.
Well, I do now. My husband.
You do now.
I meant
your husband.
Prior to him.
Which
is why I was like, did you like secretly get married? Maybe and get
married? Oh no. This is not June. Yes, this is not. No. My dad lives. Guys, I did it legally. No, my dad lives in the U.S., so I got my green card through him.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then what was your dating life like prior to this show? Like, when was your last serious boyfriend?
Yeah. It's gonna sound super, again, cliche of like, oh, it was a non-existent. But to be honest, you know, when I first moved to LA, I think it's like a rite of passage. You go on so many dates, you're like, this is so fun. And then I started realizing it was taking a lot of my time and energy, and I wanted to give my time to the right people. And this last year was just really focusing on my friends, and we traveled a lot. Um, so I didn't really have time to date. So the last serious boyfriend I had was like a year ago. And we ended on really good terms. I don't want to say we're good friends, but it was a very amicable breakup. And yeah, the last year was just spent on like traveling, and yeah, that was kind of my life.
Nice. All right. Well, you're perfect for the show then. What did you think of Grant?
I thought he was that was my first thought, emotionally mature, which I'm at an age where that's a quality I'm looking in my partner. And I mean, he's handsome, he's tall. So I'm like, okay, our babies are going to be perfect for basketball.
Truly.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, my first thought of him was very emotionally mature man.
Okay.
Did you watch the show at all before you went on it? Like, did you watch him on Jen season?
I did. And when they asked me like, oh, who do you have a crush on? He was named. I was like, Grant.
Did you watch the show prior to being asked to go on it, or did you get asked and then like let me dig into this and see what I'm signing up for?
I had watched it before, back in like when it was like Juan Pablo and Colton season. And then I stopped watching it. So of course I wanted to kind of get a little bit more of like who Grant was to see if it was a good fit. So I did watch Jen season. And I thought it was, you know what? This is probably the question you're going to ask me after. Is he your type? Definitely handsome, like attractive, my type physically. The one thing that I was concerned about, and it wasn't anything on him, it was more of a me thing, is I'm not super romantic. It's something I've always struggled with. And he came off very romantic, very intentional. So I was like, okay, let's go with an open mind, opposites attract. Let's see if he can take the romantic out of me, or bring the romantic out of me. And let's just say that he got me out of my comfort zone many times. So,
But I feel like that's okay. I feel like rarely do I know relationships where the two people are equally romantic.
Yeah, it'd be
which
gross
I think
if they were.
it'd be kind of gross. It'd be like
gross.
cheesy.
It's
It'd be
like
cheesy.
sweet when one person's really romantic, but when they both are, it can be like too much.
A cheese ball. Yes, I agree. I actually, now that you say that, I agree, because I feel like it was nice to have different qualities and bringing that out of each other. And that's what I kept repeating too. Like we were so opposite, but I feel like I was bringing stuff out of him, and he was bringing stuff out of me. And you can see in the promo too how you can tell that I'm not romantic, and he's singing to me, and I'm like,
yeah.
I in that moment I was like, Alex, just pee. Like someone's singing to you. How nice is that? You've never had that done before. Just enjoy the moment. And that's kind of what was going through my mind. But I was also like, I'm not used to this.
Well, I think regardless if you're romantic or not, I think it's a difficult position to be being sung to one-on-one.
As the first like one-on-one, guys.
Being serenaded it's intense.
When you don't know the person. It's like, it's different if it would have been the end of the season. I know him, but it was kind of like, hi, Grant, I'm Alex. Okay, let's sing to each other.
Yeah, it's intimate. It's intimate.
I sing to Serena all the time, but
yeah, but like,
do you? Is it like
playfully.
Lullabies to go to bed? Oh, okay. I thought you meant like
more Broadway.
Joe and Mobley originals while cooking dinner.
Love it. Okay, so it's not like a lullaby for her to go to bed and she falls asleep.
Far from it.
Okay, so let's talk about your limo entrance. How you made the decision to walk out of the limo, or you weren't even in a limo, right? Because you had the llama, Linda.
No drama, llama, Linda.
No drama, Lana, Linda. No, I had the stressful situation to walk the whole driveway and see him look at me the whole 5 minutes, as I can't walk too fast because I have a llama with me. But honestly, it was a plus that I had her, because she was like calming my nerves. I was like talking to her. I was like, are you nervous? Because I'm nervous.
It was like your emotional support animal.
She was my emotional support animal. And I mean, I don't know if I can tease this, but then I got something on my one-on-one, which I kept as also an emotional animal. So no, see, I'm messing it up. That I also kept as my support. Guys, help me out here.
You're doing great. Your emotional support animal.
Yeah, you're good.
Merci. I'm going to say merci every time I screw up in English, so people are reminded I'm French.
Remind people, hey guys, I'm French.
I'm French. Yes. So yeah, she was like I can't. It's a
You
given
got
like
it.
You're
Nemo.
fine.
You know
Yeah.
Nemo when he goes and and
Emotional support animal is a tongue twister, okay? In any
Thank you.
language.
To make planning the perfect beach vacation easier.
The hottest new history. And on Max from TV.
It must be. There's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day.
So you walk up to Grant, you have
Ford with a great deal waiting for you at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
so you walk up to Grant, you have the llama, you got to get rid of it.
Yes.
What's the connection like with Grant? Do you feel butterflies? How's that?
Yes. So I just want to say that he is hotter in motion. Like he's obviously hot in pictures, but then in motion, I was like, because I came in really confident, thinking like, I got this. And the second I saw him, the nerves, I'm pretty sure I said, couldn't remember what I said. I'm like, did I even say the right name? I was like, did I say my name was Bianca from Michigan? Maybe. No idea. I said, but for me, it's a good sign when I'm nervous and I don't know what I'm saying. It means that I'm like, I don't want to say intimidated, but it's a good sign. I had the butterflies, blacked out. But thank God I had kind of Linda to revert back to. And he thought he was playful as well, which I loved. Because I need, for me, my partner, I want to be goofy at the foundation of everything. To me, it's like I want to be your best friend. I want you to be my best friend. So yeah, from off the bat, I think we clicked over that.
How did the llama entrance come to be? Was that your idea? Was that like maybe a suggestion that you guys workshopped together with the show?
Yes. So initially I wanted to bring ketchup chips. And
Cute.
because I was like, I love ketchup chips. It's something Canadian. And my producer was like, oh, that's a good idea, but let's think of something else.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's a no. So we were brainstorming, like, I was raised on a farm. I'm Canadian. And, as you know, Serena, Canadians tend to be friendly and not confrontational. So we were like, how about a no drama llama? And I was like, wait, this is bold. I wanted something bold because I'm my personality. But I also didn't want something too over the top. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, I brought a llama, so it is kind of over the top. But I wanted something in the middle, like in the middle. So that's how it came about.
I love it. I love it. It was very memorable. I feel like it was a good one.
I know. And I'm like, am I going to be remembered as like the llama girl?
Maybe a
You
little
will
bit.
for
Yeah.
you will for like the first couple weeks, and then it'll go
Okay,
away.
and then they'll know my name's Bianca. Okay.
Yeah.
From Michigan, yeah.
Bianca from Michigan.
So then you walk into the house,
my
you meet all the women. Are you gravitating to anyone in particular? How's the vibes in the house?
In the house. Well, at first, it's funny because I had my llama, I knew I had my llama. I kind of forgot she was there. And everybody, like, when I came in the house, everybody looked at me like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my dress? And then I looked at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a llama in the house. Like, this is not common. So everybody obviously wanted to touch her, pet her. And I remember there's two girls that I kind of gravitated towards, which were Rose and Janae. And we kind of stuck together during first like night one, which was really nice. Yeah. So of course there was like little, groups of people together, but I feel like the consensus is it's the first night, you're putting your best foot forward. Everyone's really sweet and nice. So I feel like we were all trying to mingle together and kind of trying to gauge who was our vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's 25 women. You're not all going to get along equally. You're trying to find the people that you like feel comfortable around to get through like a very uncomfortable night. And you're like, I'll spread my wings, if I get through.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
What was going through your mind when Grant's sister came through the house? Did you think it was just another, did you think it was an ex, or where were you when that actually went down?
I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, the production's changing it up this year. Like it's giving Love Island. Wait, am I on The Bachelor?
Yeah, it's giving hot new bombshell entering the
villa. Exactly, the mansion. Exactly. And then of course we're all like, so much is going through our heads. We're like, is this a new girl? And I'm like, she's beautiful, first of all. Like, don't do that to us. So we're all trying to peek to see. And then they looked too comfortable for it to be a new girl that he had never met. So I was like, okay, is it like a cousin? Is it like an ex? And I think someone knew it was his sister.
I was gonna say there's got to be someone
there,
that
yeah.
clocked. Like
Yeah.
I've seen her on his Instagram.
Yes, and that's what happened. And then I was
Who
like,
was
"Oof,
it?
okay." I want to say she was on the left of me. I can't remember. No,
That's
I have
okay.
the
You're
memory
good.
of a goldfish. No,
That's
You're
fine.
good. One of the girls
but
clocked it.
one of the yes, they knew. They were like, I think that's Grant's sister. But
Okay.
girls were like up in arms. They were like, should I interrupt them? Which would have been crazy.
No, yeah, girls were going off like night one. Like the possession starts quick.
Very quick. Very
Or the
quick.
possessiveness.
Yeah.
The possessiveness. There you go. We both learning
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, thank you so much for teaching
Do you go?
me.
Do you go to Paris a lot?
Not even. I've been twice. But it's nice because then I get, but you know, it's funny because we have like a little bit of it's not the same as a French accent. It's, we have a little twang. They'll go to English and I get so insulted because I'm like, no, we're French. Or they'll say, oh, you have a funny accent. And I'm like,
They like
I
look
know.
down on like Canada French a little bit.
They do,
Yeah, I
big
can see
time.
that.
Especially Quebec French. What do you mean
Yeah.
I can see that?
What
does that mean?
Well,
I can see that.
I mean,
No,
when
I
you're
get
in
it.
Paris, they look down on anyone that doesn't speak
On
their
anyone-
language. So
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
so it makes
That's true.
That makes sense. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
why I said
okay.
I've been to Paris once and I love it, but I'm like I really wish I spoke the language or like you
is
kind
tough.
of understand it.
I mean,
Yeah,
We were in
did
the
you do French
elevator once.
immersion, Serena? Did
no,
you do French
we
immersion?
have French immersion, but no, I didn't. I took French from I think we're required to take it from like 4th grade to 9th grade. And I did
Okay.
it, but by 9th grade, I was like barely skimming by. Like I was like, this is not, I just don't have a knack for languages. Like I feel like if you're starting something at 4th grade, unless you're good, like I had a friend that was great with languages and she just could do it. But most kids are like, I'm too old to pick up a new
I'm
language.
too old
at
to pick up a new
12.
language.
Like,
I'm 12.
and what's
I
my
see what you mean.
motivation? No one in this province speaks French.
It speaks
like,
French. I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like if you're not around it, and you're right. It's an affinity for sure. Like I pick up languages really quick, so it's easy for me. But some people, like again, they've seen French their entire lives, and they still just know how to
Yeah.
say "je m'appelle."
Yeah,
With
that's
the most-
me. I feel like if you're from Quebec or even if you're in Ottawa, there's a little bit more of like a
Yes.
motivation. But like being from Toronto, especially like from where I'm from in Toronto, like we have a huge Chinese population. So like a lot of things are in English and Mandarin. Or like
Right, so
English
you're
and
more inclined to
Cantonese. So
learn
it's like
Mandarin.
there's even less motivation to learn French. I'm
To
like,
learn French.
Well, every time I fly to Toronto and they start
Toronto.
speaking French, I'm like nobody here. I've yet to be anywhere in Toronto where anyone's speaking French.
we'll go to Montreal.
It's like different
Wait,
than
wait.
like Montreal. I was gonna say have you been to Montreal? Both of you guys
I've
together?
been, yeah, but he hasn't been yet.
You guys have to. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
the most.
no.
For me, it's the best city. And what did you say? No.
No, I said yeah. No, I really.
Oh,
wanna
I
go. That's where
thought you
Jesse
were like-
Palmer's from.
He's from Ottawa. Oh, he's from Montreal. You're right.
He's from
No, he's
Montreal.
from Ottawa. Yes, and that's what happened. And then I was
Who
like,
was
"Oof,
it?
Okay. I want to say she was on the left.
No, I said yeah. No, I really.
Oh,
wanna
I
go. That's where
thought you
Jesse
were like-
Palmer's from.
He's from.
Even less motivation to learn French. I'm like,
I'm like, no, we're French. Or they'll say, oh, you have a funny accent. They'll say, oh, you have a funny accent. And I'm like,
they like,
I mean,
No,
when
I
you're
get
in Paris, they look down on anyone that doesn't speak
On
their
anyone-
language. So
Yeah.
yes, that's true.
so it makes
that's true.
That makes sense. Yeah. I was
That's
like,
why I said
okay.
I've been to Paris once and I love it, but I'm like I really wish I spoke the language or like you
is
kind
tough.
of understand it.
I mean,
Yeah.
were in
Did
the
you do French
elevator once.
immersion, Serena? Did
no,
you do French
we
immersion?
have French immersion, but no, I didn't. I took French from I think we're required to take it from like 4th grade to 9th grade. And I did
Okay.
it, but by 9th grade, I was like barely skimming by. Like I was like, this is not, I just don't have a knack for languages. Like I feel like if you're starting something at 4th grade, unless you're good, like I had a friend that was great with languages and she just could do it. But most kids are like, I'm too old to pick up a new
I'm
language.
too old
at
to pick up a new
12.
language.
Like,
I'm 12.
and what's
I
my
see what you mean.
motivation? No one in this province speaks French.
It speaks
like,
French. I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like if you're not around it, and you're right. It's an affinity for sure. Like I pick up languages really quick, so it's easy for me. But some people, like again, they've seen French their entire lives, and they still just know how to
Yeah.
say je m'appelle.
Yeah, that's me. I feel like if you're from Quebec or even if you're in Ottawa, there's a little bit more of like a motivation. But like being from Toronto, especially like from where I'm from in Toronto, like we have a huge Chinese population. So like a lot of things are in English and Mandarin or like English
so you're
and
more
Cantonese.
inclined to learn
so it's like
Mandarin.
there's even less motivation to learn French.
Well, every time I fly to Toronto and they start speaking French, I'm like, nobody here. I've yet to be anywhere in Toronto where anyone's speaking French.
We'll go to Montreal.
It's like different than like Montreal. I was gonna say have you been to Montreal? Both of you
I've been, yeah, but he hasn't been yet.
You guys have to. Oh my gosh, it's the most. For me, it's the best city. Did you say no?
No, I said yeah. No, I really. Want to go. That's where Jesse Palmer's from.
He's from Ottawa. Oh, he's from Montreal. You're right. He's from Ottawa. I thought I did my master's in Ottawa, and then I was asking him. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure it's Ottawa." But one of those. University of Ottawa. Well, I did New Brunswick for my undergrad, and then I did University of Ottawa for my grad school.
Montreal.
Yeah, so Nepean.
Okay, all right.
Got me. He's like, you got me.
Back on topic. Okay, so you get some one-on-one time with Grant.
Yes.
Before you get the first impression rose, how's that conversation like from our point of view as a viewer? I thought it was the first time of the night that I saw Grant seem really comfortable with someone. For me, when I'm watching the show, like especially night one, when I see the lead comfortable with somebody, usually that's a sign that they really like them. So yeah, just want to hear your take on how that went.
Absolutely. So the first thing he told me, he like grabbed my hand and he said, "You're like a little ball of energy." And at that point, we're so tired because you guys know the night is very long, and I felt dull. And I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "You think this is energy?" Because I was like, "I feel pretty low energy." So like, just wait. And honestly, I went in there just being, again, I keep saying the word cliche, but it's true. I just went in being myself. And one thing that the last text that I got from my friend before, like they took our phones away was like, just be yourself and like, they will love you. And I went in there being my quirky self. I kept saying things at the wrong time. I was like, saying things. I was like, I shouldn't have said that. And that's my normal self. And I think obviously it worked because he either thought it was charming or he thought I was psychotic. I don't know, but it worked. And I really appreciated that even if I was kind of all over the place, he kind of calmed me, which for me, that's a really good sign because I need somebody that's going to ground me for sure. And that's something I felt with Grant right away. And then he also, told me, he's like, whatever is going on in your little hamster wheel in your mind, I have it too. I just don't externalize it. And I was like, oh, great. We have that in common.
That's actually really sweet.
Yeah. So that was a very sweet bonding moment.
So you left that interaction feeling good. You guys kissed. Where are you at?
So at that point, I knew it went really well, but you can't gauge how his conversations went with the other girls. And one of the girls that I was really, really close to, they had so much in common. And at that point, I was just so happy for her. And we were like all thinking like, she's going to get the first impression rose.
Who's that?
And I was, I really thought it was going to be Janae, my girl Janae. And I was so happy.
She goes home. And Serena actually said when we recapped the episode that you were shocked.
She was the only one that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting her to go. Not that the other girls weren't great. She was just one of like, from watching the first episode, I was like, oh, like there's a little something. She seems cool.
100%. And especially that we vibed really, really well. I was like, oh, he's definitely like, if he likes me, he's going to like her, especially that they had so much in common. So I was like, yes, like you're at that point, you're like rooting for your girls because you don't have that attachment yet. Right. So I was like, yes, like Janae. So yeah, it was very shocking. And if you guys end up asking me like one word to describe the season later on, I'll say surprising because there's a lot of surprises like that.
Okay, well, we will not ask you now because you've
asked yourself.
I'm like I'm ahead of myself.
You're doing the podcast for us, which is great. So
I don't even at this point I don't even need you guys.
You're really taking a load off of us. You're like, if you ask me this will. I was like, actually, that was what we were gonna ask you.
I'm so sorry.
No,
it's
you're
great.
Good.
I love it.
It's a one-man show.
No, but that's good to know. I like hearing that it's gonna be surprising because you don't want it to be predictable. You want it to be exciting and surprising. So that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So then getting the first impression rose, and it coming along with also receiving the first one-on-one. How are you feeling? I mean, that's kind of like you're in the best position at this point.
Absolutely. The first, I think, feeling I felt was validation, in the sense that it really validated that, hey, I can literally just be myself and like be funny, and like I can just be quirky and funny and who I am, and it's going to work because he's obviously seeing that. Felt very validated and very grateful, but at the same time, it's a tough situation to navigate because you want to be happy, but also you don't want to have a target on your back, and you don't want to boast it in front of all the girls, right? Because you're still trying to make meaningful
Friends.
relationships with the girls and friends. Yeah. And you don't want to come off, that's me anyways. I don't want to come off too strong, like, I got this. So it was tough to like kind of hide my excitement, but also be excited at the same time, and validation and feeling good.
Yeah, that is hard because it's like mid-season, you kind of know it's like, oh, whoever like just got the group date, Rose and I can bond, or like whoever got the one-on-one last week and I, but it's like at this point, everyone is on the same playing field and you're the only person who's taken a step up. So you're kind of on your own when it comes to like they're happy for you, but you also
They're
are
not
like,
happy for you.
I need
There's
to be
nobody-
friends with
there's
these
no-
girls.
There's no one in that house that was truly happy for you in that moment.
Joe, I'm gonna be, you know what? I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. I feel, and again, maybe I'm super wrong because I'm like naive with that, but I feel like because I really, again, I'm Canadian. I was nice with everybody. I feel like the girls were genuinely happy for me. Like I didn't come off as, yes, I had a llama, but I wasn't like bringing the llama to be like, hey, I'm trying to stand out in that way with the girls. It was more like, haha, like llama would be funny. And I feel like I really made sure to talk to everybody and be nice to them, that I felt like they were happy for me to an extent. But
Yeah,
now that I
maybe-
say it
maybe.
out loud, I'm like, Joe's right. I'm like, no, there's no way.
It's probably mixed feelings. You know, everyone wishes that they were the one to get it, but
Yeah.
also it's so early on. Their investment in Grant isn't as strong yet. You're a sweetheart. I'm
And
feeling
you're not like a
but
jerk. Like if you were like
If
the
you're being a
bitch of the
jerk all
house, then I could see everyone being like, oh, now I'm even more mad. But you're
Why-
nice, so
yes.
Was there
Well,
anyone?
hopefully they portrayed me like, you never know.
You
Like,
look great. You look great.
Good, good.
Was there anyone night one or any, you don't have to say names if you don't want to, where it was like people might have been less happy if she got the first impression rose? She was maybe stirring up a little stuff early on.
I think, you know, we all have different personalities and we're going to vibe with different people. I think, and we all have different backgrounds and we have all different ways to approach social situations. I do think that, you know, for me, I just wasn't raised. I don't know, maybe it's the Canadian in me, but if someone says, hey, I love your dress, I won't say, thank you. That's just not me. And I think maybe some people came off like that to a couple of girls. And I think to answer your question, maybe if those people would have had the first impression rose, it would have set the tone as to what is Grant's type and what is he looking for. Because for me, I'm super different from that. But again, we all show different sides of us to different people, right? So, and we can have different connections with different people. Doesn't mean that we all have to be the same. But yeah, I think from my perspective, there's definitely maybe a couple of girls that
Yeah,
would
there
have
was
been, like, shocked.
XOXO.
XOXO.
XOXO Gossip Girl.
Okay, again,
I'm watching Gossip Girl. Okay.
Yeah, we're
That's-
currently
Are you?
watching
You're
it.
Yeah,
rewatching it?
I am. I'm actually.
He's
I
watching for
love
the
it.
first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I have never
We're on-
seen it. Is it good? Would you
Oh,
recommend?
it's so good. It's
Yes,
so it
is-
holds
It's
up.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, highly
Really?
recommend. It's every
Maybe I'll
episode
start.
is just amazing. But no, I like your answer, and I think it is honest and truthful in the sense of like there's going to be girls that are a less controversial pick than other girls when it comes to giving out the first impression rose and what that stirs within the house.
Right. And
What-
especially I think as the first impression, I think a lot of it is, no, I'm going to retract that quite no, because I was going to say, I think like the first impression rose, usually, again, I don't want to, no, because it can depend on the conversation. Never mind, scratch that.
Were you going to
Scratch
say that like people that make a good first impression with the girls are likely to make a
think-
good first impression with him?
Yes, I think, again, I haven't seen every
Yeah.
season and it
It's okay. We
depends
can
on the-
like generalize. There's always an exception, you know.
an
We'll hold you
exception,
to it.
of course, exactly. But I think, yeah, if you exude, I think like positivity, I think the person, like the bachelor is going to see that. And it's going to also bleed into like the friendships with the girls. So yeah.
100%.
Besides yourself and Janae, was there anyone else from your point of view that had a strong connection with Grant in the house night one, or that maybe the other girls were also, considering her to maybe be the first impression rose recipient?
Honestly, I don't think we really talked because everyone had really good conversations. So we didn't really have anything to gauge it based on. We didn't really have anything to really gauge it on. So, because we would talk and we'd say, "Oh, I had a great conversation," and everyone said that. So
Yeah.
we were just kind of like, it's up to it's anyone's game at this point. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think. I really, except for Janae, I think, because they had so many things in common, like the basketball, the jerk, like the number, down to like, I was like, this is like a match made of in heaven. And this is the first time that I was like, oh wait, like I need to be more romantic because if I don't have more things in common with him, like how are we gonna make this work if they have so many things in common?
Yeah, that's so interesting.
I
So
know.
night one ends. How are we feeling going into the week? You've survived the first night of the show. Where's your head at?
Yes, I was just so excited to move into the mansion. I mean, as you know, you're in the hotel room by yourself, like scratching the walls because you're not talking to anybody, and you're like, I just can't. Especially I'm an extrovert, so I just couldn't wait to talk to people. I wasn't actually scratching the walls; that was just a joke, but just making sure out there. Oh my gosh!
They were like,
okay.
we got to get this girl out of the room. Okay.
Oh my gosh, and I'm snorting now. Okay, professional. Whew. Yes, I was just so excited to be in the mansion and just see what the dynamic would be with the girls. It was definitely really sad to see like girls that I got really close with night one leave, and that's going to be a very recurrent theme with me in the season. You'll see how sensitive and emotional I am. I'm not emotional with my own feelings, but when it gets to my friends and how they're feeling, yeah. So you'll see a lot of tears every rose ceremony. I'm like,
What's your
and you would
horoscope sign?
I'm a Pisces. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
November?
October.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm not super
It takes a minute to
connoissant
see it.
with. Like, what's your sun sign then, or your moon? What's your moon?
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
Or wait,
Okay.
I'm I'm a Scorpio sun, a Cancer moon, and then a Scorpio rising.
Cancer moon. Okay. I'm like, I don't know what that means, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can.
I don't really know what it means either. I
But it's kind of fun to like know. Yeah, I'm a Pisces. Apparently, they're very emotional. So, but then I'm right on the cusp of being an Aries, which makes a little bit more sense because I'm very like spontaneous and like, woo, let's go. So it makes sense.
Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's an Aries.
I'm an Aries.
Oh, okay. So okay. Are you very
I'm crazy.
adventurous?
He's crazy, yeah.
Great. I
Overall
love it. Me
crazy.
too.
How many?
We're all scratching the walls.
Yeah, we're all scratching the wall.
How many tattoos do you have?
I can't even count them. Oh my
Wait,
gosh. I like
okay.
lost.
Did
Wait,
these
let me-
were covered up night one? Because I didn't
Yes.
see these.
No.
It's so funny because one of my best friends is also a pediatric speech pathologist, and she has tattoos like yours, like little ones spread out all over her
Really?
arms. Yeah.
I would love to meet her
Emma
because
Papineau.
Oh.
I would love to meet her because I feel like it's not a common thing for speech therapists to have tattoos. And honestly, even before going into this career, I was so insecure about my tattoos. I was like, no, like,
Really?
right. Because I was like, no one has them. Like, I don't know how like people are going to react or treat me differently because I have tattoos. So I tend to work with long sleeves at school just to like be respectful. And same thing with the show. I wanted to come off like first impression, like very modest. And I didn't want to be judge based. I didn't want to be like the girl with the tattoos because I'd been, profiled that way before. And then after talking to the girls in the house, they were like, no, Alex, like you look cool. I was like, really? Okay. Because
It's that your New Brunswick is showing, girl. Like,
my New Brunswick showing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Your New Brunswick showing. But the first night I told the girls, I was like, I had a phase where I wanted to be Miley Cyrus. So I got all my tattoos and then I realized I am not Miley Cyrus, but I'm still going to rock them.
Go on.
So you'll see on my first one-on-one date that I rock the tattoos. I was like, I'm just going to,
Do you
show
have
them
a
off.
favorite or like one that has a really special meaning?
I really, really like, so this is funny. Being in New Brunswick, there's not a lot of tattoo parlors, and every time I would ask for fine line and they would give me, which I love them, but they would give me these big ass tattoos and they'd say this was fine line, and I was like, not really sure that's fine line. So I went to Bali last year and I got this, like, I'm really terrified of snakes, and I was like, I kind of want a snake tattoo, and I asked for fine line, which is, this is fine line, this
Yeah,
is
it looks
not,
great.
and this is also, this is me being too nice. I asked for, sorry, I'm going all over the place, this is just
No,
typical
it's
lady.
it's a podcast. We need you to talk. So
We
you're
need
good.
you to talk.
Yeah.
So this bee, I wanted it originally this big, and he put it on my skin, and I was too scared to say no. So I was like, yeah, that's perfect.
No, it's not like a
Yes.
manicure where you don't
It's
like the
not
nail
like-
polish color.
Too scared to say
It's
no
there for
to
the
a
rest of my
tattoo.
life.
Wow.
Too nice. I was like, yeah, no, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. This big. So I would say the snake would be my favorite one, just because it's very feminine, very like small line, like I wanted all my tattoos to be. But
Is it
it's okay.
the fact that you're afraid of snakes, you wanted to get something that you're afraid of?
Yes. So, well, the meaning came after. I really liked the look of the snake tattoo, and then I was like, what am I most terrified of? Snakes. I was like, let's put it a little, give it a little meaning. I was like, let's say that I'm getting the tattoo because I'm uh, facing my fears every day when I wake up. I'm
Every
like, woo.
day.
Yeah, it's like exposure therapy.
Literally, that's so funny.
Literally.
All
Okay. Honestly, I think that's it. You told us you already teased the season. Surprising. That was your
Or
word.
yeah, is there anything else you can tease for us before we get into a little game?
I think surprising is the perfect word, and just, yeah, if you're seeing a facade of me right now, but I really stepped out of my comfort zone, and you'll see a different, not a different Alex, but I think a side of me that I don't necessarily show to people, which is exciting and fun, and I'm really excited to see that.
Nice.
Amazing.
Okay, we're gonna do. It's a rapid fire game. Get to know
I love
Alex.
games. Perfect.
First, don't think about it. First thing that comes to your mind, and
Okay.
you're just answering away. Rapid fire.
Perfect. Let's do it.
What is your love language?
Physical touch. I'm like physical touch. Okay, let's do that again. Sorry.
No, you're good. We'll
TH.
do it again. What is your love language?
Physical touch.
Are you more of an introvert or extrovert?
Oh, extrovert, definitely. Can't shut up.
If you said introvert, I was gonna be like, no, well, you're not.
You're lying. Like, come get out of here.
What is your go-to cocktail?
Ooh, espresso martini because I'm always tired.
What's your favorite thing about Grant?
His goofiness.
That's interesting because he doesn't come across goofy. What's one thing you haven't done that you want to do this year?
I want to go bungee jumping.
Oh.
What is your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Rot in bed and watch TikToks.
I love that.
What
That's
is a
real.
deal?
Something real.
What is a deal breaker for you?
Besides chewing with your mouth open, I think someone who's not spontaneous and willing to like travel and yeah, wants to stay sedentary. What's the word? Sedentary?
Sedentary?
Sedentary. Yeah. Not moving, not on the, you know what that means, right?
No,
Like
I
always,
know, yeah.
like no,
Like
opposite of
sedate.
nomad.
Like you don't want someone who's sedate.
We're I think we're
Sedentary.
pronouncing it wrong, but we're right there.
Sedentary. Something
There's a
like that.
word.
Enough.
I
That
know
is
there's a
word.
word.
People know what we're referring to.
Yeah.
What artist would you love to see perform?
That I haven't seen or that I've seen.
Either.
I'm a big Rufus Du Sol fan.
Okay. What is your favorite comfort movie or show?
Monsters Inc. I've seen that movie too many times and it's embarrassing,
Good
but
one.
big Monsters Inc. fan. If I'm sad, I watch Monsters Inc. If I'm happy, I watch Monsters Inc. all the time.
What is your favorite dessert?
Lemon tarts.
If you were on a
Right? Lemon,
deserted,
no, lemon bars. No, I said that wrong.
no lemon
lemon bars.
tart or lemon. Yeah. I mean, I love. a
Right,
good
they're
lemon
the same?
tart
Okay,
or
lemon bars.
bar, but
Lemon bars.
Mhm.
if you were on a deserted island and could only bring 3 people from your season, who would
Ooh.
they be?
That's a good question.
Okay, that's a really good question. I would bring Natalie, Latia, and Chloe.
I believe Natalie's actually friends with a friend of mine.
No way.
Yeah.
I love it. From Seattle or Kentucky?
Seattle.
Seattle. Ooh, I love it. Okay, wait, I'm going to text her after this. I'm like, hey.
And if you could describe Grant's season in one word, besides surprising, what would it be?
Besides surprising?
Yeah.
I want to say intense. Intense in the sense that it's very like poetic, very musically charged.
Okay. I like poetic, but musically
poetic.
charged is
Yeah.
A lot of
good
a
too.
lot of singing, a lot of having to beatbox maybe.
That makes
Wow.
sense because Grant is a very. We had some of his friends on recently from his
Yes.
season of The Bachelorette, and they talked about the fact that he's a very expressive and musical person.
Yeah.
So.
Right, which I'm not. So you'll see a lot of me struggling there. Because it's funny, everyone was like, oh, how are before the one, oh, sorry, I'm cutting you guys off, but they're like, how are we gonna get Alex out of her comfort zone? Like, I'm super like go with the flow. Pull your pull your pants. There it is. Yeah. Get me to sing and then yeah, karaoke. No.
Okay, finally to end us off, can you give Bachelor Nation a little send off in French?
A little send off, like a goodbye.
Yeah, like a goodbye.
Ooh, okay. Merci beaucoup de m'avoir reçu sur votre podcast. Puis je suis vraiment excitée de commencer cette journey. We're going to throw a little bit English in there, but vraiment excitée de commencer cette journey ici avec vous autres. Puis, yeah, on se voit lundi prochain.
Perfect. Okay.
Beautiful.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to Bachelor Happy Hour. And make sure you stay tuned because we'll be having so many women from Grant's season on Bachelor Happy Hour.
Yeah, we're excited to see the rest of his season and how his journey unfolds. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.